Hey guys, Tyson Anderson here, Mr. Hammerdown, Mr. Lewis Windy Ridge Long. Coming down his driveway right now, getting ready to go inside to see the legendary Mr. Lewis Long. That's right, I won't give his city of Kentucky, but Kentucky. Can't wait. Sit around the campfire with him. It's been a while since I've seen him. I don't think I've actually seen Mr. Long since last year, but we're excited. Stay tuned.
It was on a moonlight night, the stars shining bright, and they whispered from on high, your love has said goodbye. Blue moon of Kentucky.
Now, that's good leggy dogs, tough, and good hunt. Now, I've never fooled with the birch lake. I never have crossed into it.
Mm-hmm.
But now we think to do it now and try it, see what it does.
Yes, sir. Watch out now.
We're going to see, we'll have the puppies on the ground next year.
Yes, sir.
This boy that runs me all that, he's a young fella about your age.
Mm-hmm.
But he's really interested. And he's interested the right way to improve the dogs. To get a little better each time. You know, that's his goal. Well, he tried. He got a little male. He tried him. And I love the way he'll come in and just sit and talk. I'll leave the chair and talk. And how come you get into this? How come you get into that? How come you made that cross? And stuff like that. And it interests me to see some young man, you know, that dedicated to our sport. And I mean, he loves it. And I can be sitting here 9 o'clock at night, phone ringing. Oh, you want to be with me? Then it was cold, Tyson.
Yeah.
Cold, windy. And he said, you got to take him out there in them bad times too. You know. And I said, well, how'd your dogs do? Well, said if I was trying to sell one, I wouldn't have sold it. Said they looked rough, but said they accomplished their, you know, they accomplished. They brought the rabbit back. He said sometimes it wasn't too pretty, but they brought it back. And I mean, I know what he's talking about. We went over. I said one day we took 2 young males. I was evaluating one of them, looking at him. His was windy, about half mist and rain, and it wasn't a pretty thing. But we seen that rabbit a lot of times. And they circled for us. I'd say a lot of times it wasn't pretty at all. He said, well, how come you decide what you want to run? You know, what line of dogs you like? I said, I didn't.
Mm-hmm. It chose you.
Yeah. Yeah, I said, they told me. Well, I don't, they tell me about a certain dog, I'd go look at him. I wouldn't have that thing. And then I went to see Kingwood Shorty, went up at, me and John Newton went to Straits, up the Straits, and I went, I think in mid-Michigan. We stopped mid-Michigan, and I got to watch him run. I'm gonna tell you, of course you're not young enough, you're too young to ever have seen him.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm telling you, you talk about something could run a rabbit. Lord, that dog could run a rabbit. So, I ended up getting the bitch straight out of him, straight out of Shorty. Big bitch called down. Before she's 2 years old, I had her in Louisiana. And the guy taught me to run a trial down there, and she won it. Down in the males club down there. What was that, Greater Meeker?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and she won that trial. And she was just a machine on it. So I was hearing about this Nick, this Grampy dog from Henry Moore. You remember Henry?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, North Carolina.
Yeah.
Whoop whoop.
Yep. Yep, that's Henry. I know he'd been him sitting on a log down there talking about it. And he said, Lucy, you need to look into that. He said, now he said he's not footy like these dogs you're watching here. And he said, I wasn't on one of these things here that you couldn't give me one. But he said, so I went up to, I was in Wood County,
Mm-hmm.
West Virginia. Virginia one too, wasn't up there. And John wasn't up there. He'd been there and left. He left early. Because Wood County wasn't run our kind of dogs. You had to be right on that line, just lined like a bunch of little ducks. You know?
Mm-hmm.
And so John left. But then this Nick dog, buddy of mine bought him. Well, he just kept growing. Legs, you know, he was 13-inch man, he just kept growing. So that's why I got hold of Nick. And I didn't get to breed that shorty bitch, she died on me. I was going out the road out there, I took her out through there. She'd been sick. But she got to looking good, and I walked out the road, there was another boy. And she jumped through the fence and died right mid-air. Heart just exploded. And so that was out. And so then I started looking around some other bitches. And no boy had a Mark Brown. You know Mark?
Oh yeah, yes sir.
Yeah. He had that midnight bitch, and that's what she was. So everything you see out there in that yard goes back to her. Everything out there goes back to her. And son, I'm telling you what, you talk about something to run a rabbit. Big black and tan, pretty soon you'll lay your eyes on. So I took her up there to breed the buddy. And the boy called me a couple months, said she died. And well, that Davis boy, what's his name? Hubert Davis.
Hubert Davis,
Said she died. He had Buddy down there. And so that was pretty much out. So I bred her Nick. And then, like I said, everything you see out there is out of that cross. Everything that yard. I stayed with it, back and forth, and mixed up to John some, you know,
Mm-hmm.
used some of his stuff. And now his male that he sent me down here, he's out there, and he's the one I want to evaluate. We took him out of the day.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know where he had what I wanted. And by George, he has. He can get up and roll. Now, I don't like, per se, a front end dog. You know, just to get on that front end, unless he can handle it. Now, if he can handle it, more power to him.
Yes sir, drive on.
You drive on, yes sir. But to get up there and blow it up and somebody else got to clean his mess up, he won't beat me out here long. And, I've got a lot of rabbit hunter friends, you know, and they don't care how you get it done as long as it comes back. They don't care.
Mm-hmm.
But I do. Anyway, we watch him at day over there. And he's a real deal. I mean, he can flat do it. But see, young guys, that's what they do. They go to these field trials. And you can't do that. You've got to go to the field with a dog. You have to go in the field. You know, that dog. You can't go to a field trial and evaluate a dog. You can't do that. You know?
Mm-hmm.
You've got to go in the field, dog. And you go look at the man's dog, think about buying it. And he said, well, can we take it and run it? Yeah, we can take it and run it. And I said, he'll reach in that kennel, get 3 or 4 more dogs to take with him. And I said, right then when you ought to get in your truck and leave.
Yes sir.
You know,
I want to see what that dog can do by itself.
I want to see him out there by himself.
Yes sir.
Yes, sir.
No help.
Yep. And you know, evaluate dogs. Don't go who won and all that kind of stuff. Because if you get into who won, you got to know who's judging. You know, and are they buddies? Are they kennel mates?
Yes sir.
You know, and I said, you don't need that in your head. You need to get your dog out here, like I told Junior. He started, he said, I want a field trial. And he said, I've looked at 2 or 3, I bought 2 or 3. He spent enough money to bought a good farm on dogs and had nothing. Absolutely nothing did he have. And he come over to see me, and we saw him sports out here. He said, sell me a dog. And I said, well, what are you looking for? I want a rabbit dog. I said, you want a rabbit dog or a field trial dog? And he said, ain't they the same? I said, they should be, but they're not. I said, yeah, that should be the same thing. But I said, I'm going to let you have a pup. 6 months old, don't start. You take that pup and run it a little bit, see what you think of it. So he come back 2 days later, he said, look, I ain't never had a dog that run like that 6 months old can run a rabbit. And I said, you've never settled in on nothing. I said, you jumped all over it, you know, all over the dogs out there that's winning. You never looked at the bitch side, you never seen the bitch run. I said, you seen the male run, but you never seen the bitch run. I said, she probably wasn't worth 15 cents. Well, he finally figured that out. And I ain't saying I got the best dog in the world.
Yes, sir.
I ain't saying that. But, you know, when I went to trial, I didn't come here to get second. I come here to win it. And when I put one on the ground, I was figuring on winning it. And I didn't want my dog to get beat by me. In other words, not be in shape, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I told Junior, I said, you take a dog to a trial, you got to have him ready for a trial. I said, it's no different than running a horse in a derby. You've got to have him at the peak, right up here at the peak. I said, that's where you win trials. So he bought a dog off John. Now that, well, you took a picture of him out here.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he's one of
That little male. Uh-huh.
Yeah, he's one of those. And he's very capable of winning the trial. Very capable. And he's gonna hit the road with him after he runs him a little more and gets him a little sharper. And he said, well, you think I ought to solo him? I said, I ain't never been to trial yet and seen one dog. You know, like solo. I said, I would always solo Nick a week before I went to trials. I said, that's what was my last tuning point was soloing him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, get ready to go to trial.
That Nick not only was exactly what you wanted, but this was something you was gonna stick with. And like we said before, I know you said, you just sort of honed in. You didn't go to the left, you didn't stray to the right, you just stayed right there with it. And you didn't go to the flavors. You just stuck with what you knew.
I guess Nick was about a year and a half old when I knew what I had. And then I had to find the right females. And I went to watch this old bitch run. Bruce New had her. And I watched her run. And I tried to buy her. And Bruce said, Lewis, I don't think she'll breed. He said, I don't think she'll breed. He said, I tried her last time. He said, she took a dog but never had a pup. So that knocked that in the head. And Mark Brown called me. He said, I got what you need down there, Louis. You knew what I was looking for. I said, what you got? And he told me. And I said, what do you want for? Nothing. That's Mark Brown. Believe that if you want to, But anyway, I went and picked her up. She'd been snake bit. Copperhead got her on the shoulder, between her shoulder and that elbow. All puffed up, pus run out of it. She wanted to get out some, so I took her out one day. My God. I called Mark. I said, Mark, what are you thinking about, buddy? I said, that's a real bitch. I ain't gonna give you no piece of crap. He said, I said, what do you want? He said, I want a pup out of it. And I said, well, ain't like you till you get one then. So I bred her. And I got 3 exceptionally good hounds. I got one female that Mark Brown finished, the one he ended up with, and he finished her in the World Hunt. And the same year he won the World Hunt and finished her in AKC. Same year. And anyway, then I had a male, a Dancer, a dog called Dancer. I made that sucker every day. He got 15 and a half. Well, he's out. And anyway, I sold him to a boy up there in Pikeman.
He was the real deal?
Oh, son, he was a good one. He was a real deal. So he done about the same trick that you pulled, the wife thing. The wife kicked him out. He come down and he had him in a Magnum Force bitch. And he said, I want you to keep your dog since you poisoned him. But I leave her since you killed him. Said she hates me. And I swear short to you. Anyway, he said that you want to use him, of course he was double Nick. Well, John had old Showboat double Nick.
Mm-hmm.
So we made that cross. And we got some awful good stuff out of that. You know, but then I went back to my big black bitch and bred her. And back in her pedigree, she had a dog called Red something. I can't remember what his name now. And John said, "You reckon she got some red dog in her?" And she would meet them and stuff like that back in there, you know. And I said, "That's about hell." Well, she had a little pup and John down, and she had two red ones. I mean, big yellow eyes, gold eyes, you know. And John took both of them. And he went back, he took both. And they got 16 inches. And well, that's when I decided to take her and breed to that bright-spirited buddy. You know, I went up there, me and Bruce, we went up there and watched him run.
He was the real deal.
Oh, he was real, I reckon.
How'd your pups turn out? Pretty good.
Didn't get no pups. She died.
Oh, wow.
She died of burning the cameras. I looked for a particular pedigree. Did you ever see a pedigree on Nick?
I have, yeah. I got one on him, too.
Okay. All right, I'd look for one there.
Yes, sir.
There somewhere there. But anyway, maybe one of the dishes I'll tell you about right here. No, that's the DNA stuff there. But anyway, I just stuck with that line of dogs. And then the mother of this big bitch out here, I had let a boy down in South Carolina, Greensboro, South Carolina, had one of them pups. Well, he'd sent it to the guys ahead. He was the head of the ARHA then. I can't, house or anything.
Mm-hmm. I think I know who you're talking about. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Anyway, he called me. And he said, "Louis, I've got a good bitch up here. The one you let what's called have." And I said, "Is she good?" And he said, "She's a good one." But he said, "I'm a president of the ARHA." And he said, "She's an eighth of an inch over." And he said, "I'm going to send her for you." So he sent her up here. She was a good one. She was
What
good.
would you say, of course, to them now to keep a line going, that they don't stray and go to the left and go to the right?
You know, the main thing is with young people, they're very competitive.
Mm-hmm.
They want to win. All right, they go to field trial, and they see a dog won that trial. Go with this male. They don't care what color he is, what his legs look like, which way his feet goes. You know, they don't throw it into that. You can never let a judge tell you what kind of dog to raise and breed. You have to put time on the ground with a dog and take your gun with you. Take a 410 and go rabbit hunt. Watch that dog and see how that dog handles that rabbit situations. You can't see that field trial. You don't see them situations. You know where a rabbit runs up this way, gets on the other side of the fence, passes the dog going back down.
Yes, sir.
You have to watch that, see if that dog can figure it out. If that dog can go up there to the fence, and no, he didn't go on further down this way. Maybe he went through the fence. Go over, he picks her up and gone. Watch for stuff like that. You know, that's what you want to breed from, not them ribbon chasers, you know.
Alone, I ain't gonna hold you, sir. We'll definitely appreciate you for having us. And man, I tell you, every time I get a chance to come in this area, ain't nothing like it. I tell you, I feel like I'm sitting with my grandfather.
I want you to feel that way.
Yes, sir. You and Mr. John O, I tell you, y'all are world class, brother. First class people, I tell
I
you.
don't know about all that. My wife probably tell you different.
Yes, sir. Yee.
One of the big square ones just nicked. That may be it.
There's a lot of history in this old barn here.
Oh, Lord. Well, I throw like wheel bars for him.
How does it feel to know you've done all this.
Well, till I put a pencil on, see how much it cost me, feels good.